Francis Bacon is generally accepted as one of the half-dozen best painters in the world. No other British painter of this century has been held in anything like such high esteem. He can't produce enough work to keep up with the demand for it from museums and private collectors. Fame has made no difference to his way of life. He's refused honours. He's uninterested in position and possessions.
We all know that the most dangerous person we can meet is some kind of con man, some kind of man on the other side of the law, somebody who doesn't conform to normal morality, but also somebody who feels a powerful urge to seduce. Bacon's myth took powerful root and was, I think, aided by the fact that he was seductive in the way that, dare one say it, some criminals are also seductive.
Painting has now become, or all art has now become, completely a game by which man distracts himself. What is fascinating actually is that it's going to become much more difficult for the artist because he must really deepen the game to be any good at all and return the onlooker to life more violently.
It is 6 years since the painter Francis Bacon died. Clues are now emerging which reveal that Bacon may have been at work on more secret and puzzling images than anyone had realized. Francis Bacon was a man of extreme contradictions. The Bacon who wandered through Soho, talking freely to everybody he met, seemed to bear no relation to the painter who worked alone in his studio in the early hours of the morning.
There were often two very, very distinct sides to Bacon, and that was part of his fascination, that he seemed split. And you wondered how he managed to keep these things in balance. I mean, on the one hand, you could say he dissembled quite a lot. But on the other, he was extremely candid. And he was enormously sort of vivacious and gregarious and exuberant and sarcastic and fun to be with. And I was immediately seduced. I think he seduced everybody. He said, he used to come up with this phrase from time to time, séduire c'est tout. To seduce is everything.
I think it's true to say that Bacon was an adept manipulator. He knew exactly what he was doing when he was talking about his work. I'm not for a moment saying that he was deliberately lying, but what I am saying is that I think he edited himself very effectively. He was a marvelous conversationalist. Words came easy to him, perhaps easier, in fact, than painting in a strange way. And it's easy, I think, to take Bacon at face value and to think that what he says actually is the truth.
Do you do drawings beforehand?
No.
You go straight onto the canvas?
Yes.
With the paint?
Yes.
I think Bacon was a con man in a rather special sense. One of the points of emphasis is that Bacon never drew. He is extremely categorical on the subject. It's not that he fudges the point in any way. He never drew, he never sketched. He absolutely denied that he does any such thing. Bacon's own words on this subject are so extremely unmistakable, so direct, that one must assume that he was to some extent a fantasist, that he didn't tell the truth about his own working procedures.
Images are now coming out, fascinating images, which do tell us, I think, a great deal more about his working method and give the lie to the idea that this was a man who managed to paint, as it were, fully formed images straight onto the canvas.
If you explode such an important part of the established myth, then you've got to reconsider the whole personality. And that's a major demolition and reconstruction job.
Barry Jewell first met his famous neighbour Francis Bacon in 1978 when he fixed his television aerial. He went on to become the artist's handyman, and he says his friend for the last 14 years of his life. One of the duties Barry Jewell was asked to perform was the slashing of canvases, which failed to meet Bacon's exacting standards, an act which would prevent such work from ever being seen or sold. Yet Barry Jewell has in his possession several oil sketches and some 500 works on paper, which he claims Francis Bacon gave him a few months before he died.
He phoned me up one morning, and it sounded on the phone like he was gasping for life, like he was dying. So I rushed over. I had a key. I went upstairs, and he was collapsed on his kitchen floor. The next morning, I had a note shoved through my door, which I still have, actually, to go and see Francis in the Cromwell. He'd recovered. He asked me to go back to the studio and remove certain things, to take them into my flat. And he told me exactly where to go and what to take. And of course I was curious as to what he'd asked me to take. And I looked at them, and they were these worked over, painted over, scratched, bent, twisted photographs. Finally, in April, so this would be 3 months after this event, he decided that he would go to Madrid. He wanted to go to Madrid where it was warmer. He didn't drive, didn't have a car. Could I drive him? And we started off for the drive to Heathrow Airport. And I can't remember the exact conversations, but he said, "You do still have those photographs?" And I said, "Yes, I do." He said, "You know what to do with them?" And I said, "Well, what do you mean?" And he repeated it, "You know what to do with them."
Mr. Jewell's account is that they were a great bundle of stuff which Francis Bacon told him to throw away and which he didn't. And it's as simple as that, that it was one single act of recuperating material which he had been told to destroy and which he didn't. Well, we know in the case of biography that people are often told to destroy letters and don't, and that biographers are duly grateful to them when they don't and duly angry with them when they do as they're told. It's morally an extremely difficult area.
Bacon controlled his reputation by allowing us to see only an edited collection of his finished paintings. The posthumous exposure of these new works is sharply dividing opinion in the art world.
If these are by Bacon, then they show another world. Suddenly, if they are by Bacon, we have broken into Tutankhamun's throne room.
Well, people like to poke about, really, don't they? I mean, perhaps they have a sort of collection of his nail clippings or something, or a bit of his hair or something like that. People like to pay goodbye.